Now let's look at how to factor those trinomials. These are the ones that have 3 terms. Now there's actually 2 different methods for factoring trinomials. There's the AC method and the unfoiling method. We're going to look first at the AC method because it works for everything. The unfoil method only works for certain problems, but it is very convenient. So we'll look at that in the next video. But for right now, let's look at the AC method. Now you use this after you have looked for any greatest common factors, of course. All right, sometimes you will hear this referred to as factoring by grouping. And that is because the goal of the AC method is to create a 4-term polynomial. Now remember, we're starting off with 3. So we're going to manipulate the equation so that we have a 4-term polynomial, and then we can factor it by grouping just like we did in the last lesson. So let's just look at a problem. First, you look for a greatest common factor, and there is not one. Now, the AC method, the first step is to multiply the A and the C. What is that? Well, if you'll remember, standard form of a quadratic equation looks like this, where the coefficient of your first term is A, the second one is B, and the third one is C. So for the AC method, we're going to multiply A times C. So when I multiply 2 times 18, I get 36. Now we're going to write the factors of 36 down, and we are looking for a pair that will add up or will combine to give us negative 15. Now since this is positive, the only way to get a negative number by adding them is going to be if both of these are negative. So we could have negative 1, negative 36, negative 2, negative 18, negative 3, negative 12. And right here, we don't have to go any further because there's the one we want, negative 3, negative 12. Now remember, your goal was to create a 4-term polynomial out of 3. The only way to do that is take one of these terms and rewrite it into 2 terms. Well, here's these numbers. We're going to rewrite the 15 as the combination of these 2. So now we have 2x squared. We're going to take the minus 3x and the minus 12x plus 18. Now that's awkward, but we did achieve our goal. We made a 4-term polynomial. Now to factor by grouping, you're back in familiar territory. You're going to group and take out the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor here is x. So you have 2x minus 3 minus. Your greatest common factor here is going to be 6. Now remember, this is a negative 6. So when you take it out, it's going to change that sign. And now you have, that's 2x minus 3. And once again, these 2 things match. So they become your new greatest common factor. And whatever's left over, x minus 6. See, here's the x and the minus 6. They become your second factor. And that is factored form of that trinomial. So let's try another one. I look for a greatest common factor. There's not one. I count my terms. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to use the AC method. And in this one, A is 12 and C is negative 2. So when you multiply those together, you're going to get negative 24. Now let's find 2 factors of 24 that I can make a sum or combination and get 5. So I've got negative 1, positive 24, positive 1, negative 24, negative 2, 12, 2, negative 12, negative 3, 8, and 3, negative 8. And right here is the pair I want. So I'm going to use these to create a 4-term polynomial over here. And I'll do minus 3x and plus 8x minus 2. Now, it doesn't matter where you put which one, but if you have a choice, put the negative number first. That keeps you from having to distribute that minus sign right here. Just prevents a careless mistake. All right, the greatest common factor here is going to be 3x. So I have 4x minus, well, if you take the whole 3x out, you just have 1. Now here, my greatest common factor is going to be 2. So I have 4x minus 1. And once again, the magic of factoring by grouping right there, those match. That becomes your first term. And these two things that are left over, go down here for your next one. Okay? One more. Now this one's a little bit different because it doesn't have a number here. Well, you've been through all your steps. There's no GCF. You've counted your terms. You know you have to use AC method, so you need an A. The coefficient of any number that doesn't have 1 is that understood 1. So when we multiply 1 times -9, I get -9. Now I'm going to factor that, and I'm looking for the pair that will add up to give me +8. And right off the bat, that does. So let's come back over here, and I have x squared minus, since it's 1, you have to put 1x. And then plus 9x and minus 9. And you can check yourself. Is -1 plus 9 equal to +8? Yes, it is. So you haven't changed the value of the equation. You've just manipulated the way it looks. And now to factor by grouping, take the greatest common factor out here, which is x. When you take x out of that, you have an x left. When you take x out of here, you have 1. All right, down here, greatest common factor is 9. Remainder is going to be x minus 1. And once again, the magic happened. That becomes my first factor. My leftovers is x plus 9. There you go. And the next video will be on unfoiling. Good luck.